The Husqvarna Viking Brilliance 75Q can be used with all types of fabrics, from woven fabrics to stretchy fabrics to thick ones to things with batting in the middle. There's lots of stitches, and we're doing lots of free video tutorials on which stitches are right for different fabrics. But here we're going to talk specifically about a good stretch stitch. So any stitch that has some type of zigzag will allow for an accordion kind of pull and allow the fabric to stretch. Now, if you just do a straight stitch on knit fabric and you pull on it, it's going to pop and break those stitches. Now, there's actually quite a few different versions of a stretch stitch. We're going to use stitch number 3. It kind of reminds me of a lightning bolt, and that is exactly how it's going to stitch. Fairly small, petite, up and down a little bit, but enough so it looks like a straight stitch when I'm done, but it will have the stretch so my fabric doesn't, so it stays together and the stitches don't pop. There are other stitches that we can use, like our overlock stitches. Those will have stretch to them, and then stitch over the edge, so that's a nice kind of 2-to-1 technique that you can do. Any of these stitches that have a straight part and a zigzag part, so anything like these are great. Again, you can touch that question mark and ask, what does that stitch do? And it'll give you some suggestions, including for medium and heavy stretch fabrics. So certain ones will be more suited for some of your bulkier or fluffier stretch fabrics, like fleeces or minkies. But for right now, we're going to focus on stitch number 3. Now, as I stitch, one of the things is that it does move the needle to the far left needle position. So just kind of keep that in mind if you are using your seam guides for reference for seam allowance, and which one you should actually be following. Okay, the other thing is that I want to show is sometimes your fabric might come out a little wavy. And one of the things you can do is you can actually tell the machine that you're working on, use the sewing advisor that is, tell the machine that you're working on a stretchy fabric, and it will adjust or a little bit of the pressure so it's not coming down as heavy, the foot, onto the fabric and stretching it out as you go. Some of the other stretchy ones will just move the stitch width just a little bit and make it just adjust just a little bit more. So those can be helpful, but if you just need to adjust the foot pressure yourself, you can go up to the menu, come down to the settings, and then hop over. If this was the last one you're on, touch the tab at the top with the zigzag and come over here to foot pressure. Now, normally, if you're on just a regular woven fabric, this will actually be like at 6. And so I always tell people you can come down about halfway or more, so we could even adjust that even further, and that foot is almost going to be like gliding across the fabric. And you can sew from this screen, so if you want to see, did your change make enough difference, or do you need to go a little further, or you went too far, you can actually have that do and play around with it right there. Or when you're done, just touch that green check mark. But I can see already that this is actually just perfect because of the pressure reduction. I don't have a lot of wave when I started, but I have a feeling if I had done that much on a much longer piece of fabric, I probably would have seen a little bit of stretch, and now I don't have any. But here's what we're looking for. We're looking for a stitch that's secure as a seam, which it is, and have the give and elasticity that we're looking for. So like if you put something over your head, it stretches out but then comes back to its natural size. So try out some of the different stretch stitches. You can also use the sewing advisor and tell it you're doing a seam, and that would have actually picked that stitch for you. So I did fabric D, a lightweight stretch, and technique 1, a seaming feature. If I wanted to overcast or a seam and overcast, you can see it's going to roll down to different stitches based on what fabric and technique I'm picking. So it's just so nice to know you can get to the stitch you're looking for more than one way. So we've done a ton of free video tutorials on this machine. You can find that link at the bottom or right here at the end of this video, and you can start watching the playlist from the beginning. Happy sewing!